Reassembly is the reverse of disassembly. Yeah, we'll see. Hello and welcome to another Mr. Beats By video, and this one's a little bit different insofar as the part 2 to the Sony Video8 GV-8E machine repair. So, first of all, just to sort of clear up and clarify a few things from part 1. First of all, these sensors here, these are actually optic couplers, and they are mounted on the base of the spools, or they're picking up from the spools. There's foil on the bottom of each spool with black painted sections uniformly placed all around the spool, and this picks that up and basically sends it back to the logic to inform it that the spools are actually moving. If they don't, obviously it goes into fault mode and it shuts down. So yeah, not Hall effect at all. Timing wise, I don't think this deck is out of time now. I was sort of thinking about it, and it made sense that maybe it was, but it's actually jammed. It's actually jammed, sort of half laced. Now, partly what I do wonder is if maybe it's a tooth out on one of the gears, because the one take up guide is, I don't know, it just looks a little bit sort of maybe a bit further than it should be, but I don't know. I'm not convinced that's it, because for it to stop where it stopped, being a tooth out wouldn't cause that. It would unlace a lot further than it is. I managed to get the tape out. So the cassette is broken, so let's pull the little lever there. You can see it's well and truly gone. It's a shame, because it's it looks like the content might be quite fun, the Spitfire, but it's broken right at the beginning of the cassette, so the tape should be easily repairable, and I might even show that being repaired. Other thing as well, getting the cassette out is really very easy. On the side here, a little bit of metal poking through the mechanism there. Just push it that way, and you can see it's opened up like so. And the other thing that struck me seemed to have some sort of contamination on the pinch trolley. You can just see that white there. I just wonder what the heads are going to be like as a result of that. If they are contaminated as well, but I don't know. We'll see. It's all good stuff. And so another thing I did think about when sort of how to actually go about repairing this, and it's been a while since I've repaired one of these. It's probably easily a couple of years, so I'd sort of forgotten with all the beta stuff and everything else, that I did say in the last video about dropping the motor out. You can't do that. It's got a flange on the top of the gear, so dropping it out, it just won't get past the helix gear on the other end of this rod. But you do have the connector for the motor, so what I'm going to do is just use a battery and basically swap it over to load, unload, run through, just test it. Be a bit careful, of course, because I don't want to break any gears, break it any more than it already is broken. So yeah, with that, I suppose we better crack on and just see what is going on. Okay, so let's just test the deck. You can see some bodgery has gone on here. Basically, I've just put 2 wires into the connector that goes to the lacing belt. What I'm going to do is actually take off this top board so we can see what's going on. And screw that. There's a screw at the back as well. Same screws, which is good. Oh, there's another screw at the back on the other side as well. You see the top of the motor then as well, hopefully. Let's get another bit of tape off. The tape is very, very sticky. For all these years. Right, so there's the whole deck. So yeah, you can see it's half laced already, so let me just bring it around. And I'm just going to use our favourite type of battery, Duracell. I actually don't use these in anything other than for things like this now, so I don't forget them, they leak. So that's unlacing. How far does it go? Will it go all the way? Yes. Okay. So let's lace it. So there's lacing. And I don't know. Does it keep on going to move the pinch roller? Good question. I would suggest it does. So it drives that motor a bit further just to push us right up against the pinch, the capstan. But it isn't actually doing it because it must be 3 volts. It must be a 3-volt battery motor. You see, that is going quite slow, but it does prove that it works, and it's ejected. Great. So I think I have to run this back a little bit. So let's lace it up again. Let's let it run right the way through the whole sequence as far as it will go. Yeah, you can see, look, it's pushing, and it's actually that little. Actually, just. So you can see there's this arm here is what's pushing the pinch roller up against, or up into position anyway, and that actually goes into a little section there. It's actually in the trailing edge of the one guide as it laces. Yeah, I do just wonder how it does actually engage, because if it's just this, oh, what's going on there? That's just a gear. Don't know. It's the simple answer to that. So that seems to just push it to, it's like parked position, and then something else must push against the arm somewhere to actually engage it with the capstan. Let's turn it over. Have a look. Yes, it does. So you can see here, there's quite a bit of torque needed to actually finish the complete lace and play. So this here, so this is going this way, this is going this way. So this actually doesn't go any further, or it doesn't move, if you like, anymore. Or maybe just a little bit, just to, yeah, put it, because it'd have to tell the mode switch, wouldn't it? So this would move, again, a bit further. I wonder if we can get it to do that. What were we? Blue to copper. Wonder if I help it a bit. Don't put it about too much. Also don't want to risk burning out the motor. There we go. So that's now in full play mode. And did it move? I wasn't watching. Did that move? Yeah, I can see I'm going to put a comment at the top of the screen in a minute. Say, oh, yes it did, or no it didn't. Yeah, so that's now, so if I turn the capstan, you can see that's turning. So yeah, I don't see any problems with this deck. It does look like the mode switch is sort of an open design. In fact, it is. I can see the copper. I don't really quite make that out. There's a bit of copper there. So what I'm thinking is I'll put a little bit of deoxit in there and leave it soak, and then put it back together, I suppose. See if that does the trick. I might put a tiny bit of grease in these runs as well, just so it all works nicely. Yeah. I don't know, maybe give them a bit of a clean, and this grease can sometimes cause problems, I suppose. I don't know, it was so bad on these, to be honest, but I'll do it anyway. And then I suppose we'll put it back together and see what happens. Okay, so one thing I am concerned about is why the idler gear isn't moving. I've put a bit of grease here, but it's just not moving. So what I'm going to do, if I can, is pop off thought I had it. The little clip, which is supposed to replace, but try getting one of those now. Take off that gear. Now, how is this fixed? I'm being very gentle doing this because I don't want to mess it up. We've come this far. Now, does this just pop off? a bit more than I wanted, but it's gone under the gear there, you can see, but that should be right. There's a clutch there, so I've contaminated the clutch a bit, which I don't want to do, really. I mean, I don't know, it might be like VHS decks, or some VHS decks that actually push. Yeah, I wonder, I don't know. To actually push the idler. There definitely seems to be a little bit of resistance there. You can sort of almost hear it. Okay, well, I'm just a bit concerned I've contaminated that pad now. Which will affect the clutch a little bit. That shouldn't be too bad, to be fair. But what the heck? I mean, would it have enough torque? I suppose with enough speed it would, but would it have enough torque to actually pull that from one side to the other without any mechanical assistance? Don't know. So I've lubricated all the gears. I've not really cleaned it up. I didn't overly see the point, to be fair. What I'm going to do is just run the deck just one last time. I think I need to go blue copper. Still shudders a little bit, but of course the grease will run in, so that's fine. And then what I'm going to do is just run this back. Actually, what I am going to do is load this up that far and clean that controller and the capstan while it's all apart. It'd be silly not to. Yeah, so there was something on it. I don't know whether it was mould. It certainly didn't look healthy. And there is actually a little line just on the capstan of tape build-up. That's it. Managed to get it off. Yeah, so that's done. So I'm gonna close the lid. Then I'll unlace it. So blue copper. So I'm going to unlace it now. Yellow copper. Of course it is. Knew I'd forget. Unlace it. Eject. Lace it back to stop. I think that's stop. Yeah. Super. So, next thing to do now is actually put it all back together. And all nice and shiny and lovely. Nicely greased. I haven't cleaned the heads. I will do that. In fact, let's do that now. Okay, so clean these heads. So cut a piece of paper with isopropyl. Oh, there's a bit of gunk there. I've been expecting these to be very mucky. Well, not too bad. Fair play. Fairly bad. So there we go. So Next bit will be putting it back together. A little bit daunting when you see all the parts out like this. And it's remembering where all the screws go. I mean, it isn't too bad, to be fair. I've done far worse, not necessarily in AV, more to do with computerized bits and pieces and certain Apple products. But yes, so, but it's been a few days since I took this apart now, and you might remember I said, I think it was in part 1, that really you need to do this fairly quick, work on these fairly quickly, because very quickly you will forget where everything goes. So yeah, I'm sort of a bit like, oh crumbs. So the first thing I need to do first, the first thing, well, let's get this on first. It's my favourite word, first. It's the first thing. It's the first thing that I thought of saying. So let's get that back on. Now, camera angles are going to be really weird all the way through this. Yeah, just because obviously I'm concentrating more on getting this back together rather than the camera angles, so I will apologise for that now. I have sort of managed to muddle up the screws as well. Oh, that's not magnetised. To be fair, I don't know why I took those top screws out, because the whole assembly just comes out with the 2 screws at the back. Which I'm going to have trouble putting in. This bit of contamination. Now, I have no idea where this has come from. It doesn't seem to make an awful lot of sense, other than it must have just got through from the outside of the unit somehow. I mean, even so, it doesn't really make sense. Right, so then we've got to put the board on the bottom. So this is that, and these have the slide to fix ribbon cable connectors. And that's quite cool because they lift these actually lift up slightly as well. But of course you've got to get them flat before you push them in. Majority of the screws are the same, but not all of them. I've got 2 of those, so I'm going to go for these wider ones. So 2 of these. Okay, so that's all done. So time to put this board back on. So let's make sure we're not trapping any ribbon cables. We should be okay. I do wonder if maybe I should plug in that one there. Arguably, so I could just pull this one off, but let's not. I'd rather not disturb any of these more than I have to. Ah, there we go. So that's looking good. So there's a red connector there, but I don't think anything goes on there. I think that is just for testing. It's a test socket. Okay, so that's not sitting correctly. 4 of those silver screws, I think. I think I might have to watch my first video, part 1 to this, to just make sure I am putting the right screws in the right places, because I'm starting to doubt I'm getting this right. It'd be a pain to have to take it apart just because you haven't got one screw. I think that is right. I'm sure you'll say in the comments if I've got it wrong. Right, so that's great. We've got a pretty much together assembly. So anything I have to be wary of? No. There's 4 screws for the base. Oh, nearly forgot. Yes, now make sure the earphone socket goes in. Gosh, I hope you're seeing all of this, because it's going to be a bit pointless otherwise, isn't it? But yeah, and there are screws on the side here. Now, I remember when I did part 1, I didn't actually show this, that there is actually a ground strap here, which I think uses these screws, although I don't know. I thought there was. Maybe there isn't. Okay. So we've got 4 screws underneath, which I believe are these. I mean, I think the risk of long screwing into a PCB or part of the mechanism are fairly remote. I'd like to think it sort of predates that sort of. We'll get them if they take it apart, putting the wrong screw, putting them back together. Not to say that that doesn't happen sometimes, but I don't think it's sort of malicious like it was with the with more modern stuff. And may I have paid a price for doing that? No, I don't think I have. So, toothbrush, doing this dry. Nice to do a better cleaning job, but that will do. So no, that's fine. I had a bit of a feeling that they were captive, but they're not. And we've got another one over here. Yeah, you just got to remember to put them on, which is fine, because I remembered. There's always that time where you get so involved trying to fix something that you forget to put those bits on. Put it all together and get that. Oh no! I forgot. And we've got speaker, so speaker goes down the front here. Another red connector. I do think the red connectors are just for oh gosh, that feels really dodgy doing this. Very, very gently doing this. But I think the red connectors are just test points for test kit. You know, bespoke Sony test kit. You plug in, and it would probably cost an absolute fortune to buy at the time. Anyway, you probably can't get it at all now. So that goes, yeah. So that goes that way, doesn't it? Yeah, because remember that dent. So that goes there. That's for the LCD at the top. Then we've got these that go underneath. This goes here. This goes here. Oh, it's going really well. That will go there. That will go there. That will go. Oh, that's a bit weird. Let's see how that's ended up going. Ooh, like a tear in there. Oh, I hope that isn't what the problem is. It goes like that anyway. Somehow. Oh, I'm just really concerned because that looks slightly damaged there. That would need that to go back on itself. Oh, which it does. Okay. So, yeah, that's just me. I don't know doing what. Okay. Yeah, there's the other earth grounding strap, which actually looks a bit like it's going to break. Wonderful with this. So let's put the can back on. Without trapping any wires. I do wonder if these should be going underneath the ribbon. Yeah, in fact they must do. Super, so far so good, I think. Well, I'm still very concerned about that ribbon. It's just very sharp. It just goes at such a bad angle. It's really such a bad angle that it's straining it. And that is not good at all. Sorry, Sony, but you really didn't do a good job there. Yeah, this cable needs to come around so that can then go in. Yeah, it's really so twisted. Okay, so I'll do that and we'll carry on. Okay, so one thing, the elephant in the room, if you like, with these machines, but the one thing we've been sort of not talking about is machines of this generation and newer. They use these surface mount capacitors, and these are terrible. I have to say, as a rule, I replace them all when I see them. And Video8 machines, and I mean, with the full-size video cassette recorders, they're a bit of a nightmare because there's a lot of them in some of the models. Very commonly, you get like on the sort of late 80s, early 90s machines especially, which have a lot of standard electrolytics like this. You get things like strange head faults, and it looks like the heads are bad, and it will turn out that it's actually the head amplifier can will be filled with these, and they will have all leaked. Now, these just leak. These leak with age. They don't leak with heat. They don't leak with use necessarily. They just leak with age, and you can see. I was hoping we'd get away with it, but you can see where it started really leaking there, and here as well. And you can actually see it's starting to eat away the print on the board. So, yeah. I'm not going to change them yet. I probably will do this in another video. I mean, it's not going to be another part. I'll just do this in another video as sort of a thing you do with this type of kit. You have to be prepared to change all these caps, all these surface mount caps. There's more here. So there's 2 more here. In fact, there's another one there. Another one there. There's quite a few more underneath here. And I will say I've just ignored it for now, just because obviously we're getting the deck going. But seeing that leakage there, it's just like alarm bells to me, and they need to come off. And you know, I've even got the electrolytics out. I could just use standard electrolytics. Do the fancy thing with the leads, so they just mount quite nicely onto the board. You can get away with doing that in a lot of cases, and indeed Sony have done it here. But sometimes you can't. So what I've actually done is I'm just putting a Farnell order together for a load of tantalum and low voltage caps, electrolytics, 105 degree low voltage capacitors, in the hope that I can save this in the fullness of time. And it's time's critical on these. Once they start eating away, you really need to get these done and changed fairly quickly. I've got quite a lot of kit with these caps, and I'm just dreading what they're going to be like when I get to them, because it takes me quite a while to get to them. I've actually got a DCC deck which is sort of working, but I know that the head amp side of it, if nothing else, the head amp side of it is full of these capacitors, and they just destroy the board. So yeah, I can't stress highly enough that you really need to be changing these. And this is the thing also, if you buy one working on eBay, if the seller is saying that it hasn't been reconditioned with all new capacitors, then just leave it alone, to be honest, because unless you're willing to change all these capacitors, it's just not worth it. They're useless, or soon will be. Even if they work, they will soon will be. And you know, by the time they die, probably the print is going to be all damaged anyway. So that's game over, really. So a bit of a warning. While this is really great that I'm doing all of this, you do have to realize that the caps are going to cause you a lot of problems. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back together anyway, even though those caps are really concerning me a lot, and connect it all up. Like I said, I don't really like disconnecting and reconnecting these ribbon cables more than I have to, but I think under the circumstances I just need to know this deck is working, or if it isn't working, that it is fixable before I start recapping the whole deck, and of course it will all have to come apart. On the screws, I did check my video back, and yes, I have put some black type screws where chrome should be, and chrome screws where black should be. But as I thought, obviously it just doesn't matter, because I'm going to have to take it all apart again. So yeah, let's crack on. Let's test it, and just see if I have actually got a working machine. I mean, the other thing I'm thinking, because all the these caps are probably bad, I just don't know. I don't know whether that's going to be causing problems with the logic, whatever. But yeah, let's carry on. To be frank, I didn't find anything wrong with that deck, did I? So I don't know. I'm starting to really doubt now whether we don't just have bad caps causing all these issues. But yes, let's crack on. Okay, so with my rant with the capacitors, I've broken off the grounding strap, so yeah, let's get that sorted. Top of the board, base of the board, last two capacitors. So let's connect stuff back up. Broke off again, obviously a bad solder job. So this connector here actually drove me a bit crazy, absolutely crazy. I could not see in the manual where this went, but it actually goes, and it's not easy to show you, but there's a connector there on that board, and it just slips in. It looks as if it shouldn't fit, but a little bit of fiddling, that's it, that's in. So yeah, that really threw me. So yeah, let's get the rest of it back together. So in true grand finale fashion, I pressed record at the wrong moment, and I actually filmed the chair for 7 minutes instead of the final touches to the to this great machine. This great machine, and yeah. But in essence, I have saved you at least 5 minutes of your life. So, what actually happened? I did test it. You can see there I put in a pre-recorded cassette. It's the only one I had to hand, actually. All the rest are in a box hidden away, and I couldn't be bothered to dig that out. And it's doing exactly the same thing. So my thoughts with the idler assembly in this really do ring true. I'm positive that the idler is jamming, and it's just not moving as it should. You know, if you have experience with these, and having seen what you've seen, let me know in the comments if you agree with that, and possibly what might be causing it, because I couldn't actually see anything like fouling that mechanism, but it was so stiff moving between the two spools. So yeah, but obviously I do need to take it apart anyway. Even if it worked, I'd still have to strip it down, which is why I thought, well, let's just put it together, see if it's made any difference. Because we do have to change those caps, and there are lots of them. I do now have them in stock. They've come in the other day from Farnell. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this one up here. Sorry it's not a happy conclusion, but in the future, it'll be a little while now, because I've got quite a few other bits and pieces that I want to share and I want to look at, and this doesn't take up much space. I'm running out of space. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe as well. Really does mean a lot. And I'd love to hear your comments on the Video8 machines as well, and whether you had especially the video recorder variants, which really sort of almost took over from Betamax in many ways. But like I say, it's a wonderful format. It really does rank right up there with me with my favorite video formats, that being Video8, V2000 and Betamax, and not in that order. And I might well do a video on that as well. It'd be quite fun. But yeah, Thanks for watching and see you in another video. Bye for now.